Welcome. Circuit of the Americas. Give people time to get in here. Setting up to be a pretty good race today, I think. The fun one to build lineups for. Lots of ways to go. There's quite a bit of chalk, though, which I'm not overly happy about, but we'll deal with it. Yeah, any worries? This race seems super chalky. Yeah, it's kind of, I think there's going to be a lot of chops today. I do. Outside of if there's chaos. Could see a difference. I mean, obviously, we got to prepare for chaos. We've seen it before with these road course races. You know, this is a whole new layout. This is a different. They took out the long backstretch. They're right out of the S's. They're taking a hard left. So it's. They're also like there's certain parts of the track that some of the drivers mentioned. It's kind of a grassier area where that could cause issues during the race outside of just typical road course calamity. People dive bombing. That's another thing the drivers mentioned today. You know, this new layout or this different layout. It's not a new layout, but this different layout of the track could present the option for some more dive bombs, which just, you know, just adds to the possibilities of things that can happen. But overall, you know, I think it's going to be a good race to watch. I have some bets that I like today, so I'm feeling good about those. I'm feeling pretty good about making lineups. So I think it's going to be a good day. You know, coming off of hitting Christopher Bell 25-1 live last week. That was awesome. That was a good confidence booster. Get this season going, keep the betting card going strong, and you know, keep going. Connor Zilisch is making his Cup Series debut today. He won the Xfinity race yesterday. He's racing that Trackhouse car. Trackhouse has a ton of speed today. And, you know, I don't think enough people are talking about Chastain and Suarez along with SVG and Zilisch. I mean, those cars are just all strong. Chevy looked the best in practice. Chevy looked the best as far as tire fall off and just long run speed. Toyotas, I don't know. They didn't look great in practice, and then all of a sudden they blew everyone out of the water in qualifying. You know, 2311's on, both on the front row. But then we got like Christopher Bell, who I thought was one of my favorites to potentially win this race heading into the weekend. He qualified back in 19th, you know, another kind of chalk pick there. Alex Bowman's back in 21st. Chalk pick. He's really good here. And then, of course, as Andrew pointed out here, Austin Cindric starting 36th. You know, Bob Pockers picked him to win. That's how good that car was. It had what I saw to be top 10, top 5 speed in practice. So I don't know if he just killed it in qualifying. You know, I wasn't paying super close attention. But yeah, unfortunately, Cindric, obviously you can go underweight on him if you want to try to be different. But with how good he's been at this track, with how strong his car looked in practice, I mean, it's tough to get off of him today. I'll admit that. I will say that my projections are lower on Cindric than I expected. They're not putting Cindric in as, you know, an immediate must play. I'm going to run the optimizer here quick, just so I'm not talking out of my ass. But I was a little bit surprised that he didn't come up more where he was. Not to say that my projections don't like him this week. They're just not as high as I fully expected. But yeah, as far as dominators, obviously we got Reddick on the pole. He's won here before, looking to become the first two-time winner at COTA. So far, we have 4 races at this racetrack. Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain, Tyler Reddick, and then William Byron won last year. So 4 races, 4 different winners so far. Could easily see a 5th different winner today. Could see SVG take it. Could see, I really like Larson today. I think Larson has a great car today. Allmendinger hates his car, but he looked good in practice. If they can figure out that that car's fall off, and this is not a beer. This isn't Stacking Denny's. It's still morning here, so energy drink. But Allmendinger hated his car, but he has speed, and it's Allmendinger, and he's challenged for the win here before. I think Allmendinger is someone that people could be low on today that's actually going to be better. So there's ways to get different with this starting lineup and with how this slate is playing out, that we don't really have to take a huge stance on Cindric. I think Cindric, it's perfectly fine to be heavy on Cindric today and just get different elsewhere. Bubba Wallace starting on the outside pole, did not expect that. But at the same time, you look back at I'm perfectly okay with a morning beer and starting out the day with a beer. Just not today. I didn't want to do it today. Bubba Wallace starting second. Will he be able to stay up there? You look at Charlotte Roval last season at the end, started 9th, finished 9th. Bubba Wallace used to always be awful at road courses. All of a sudden, I think he's top 20 in the last 6 straight road courses. And when I say road courses, I'm referring not a street course. I'm talking about actual road courses. If you go to driver averages and go to track type and go to road courses, that's kind of how I easily pulled data. But Carson Hocevar starting 4th, I don't think that he is going to be a threat, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if he did get up there and lead, and if he did challenge. I think Hocevar, I don't know. I mean, one of these races, he's going to just break out and actually compete. I think he's talented enough. Hocevar is an interesting one for me today. I know my projections are low on him. Everybody's low on him. I'm not super high on him, but I could see Hocevar staying up there. Gilliland starting 10th. I think he could have a top 10 car. That's a top 10 bet, long shot bet that I'm actually thinking about taking this week. Yeah, Fords don't look great. So Buescher is always one of my favorite plays on the road course slates. He's just so good he's so good yet underrated at these road courses. I mean, he's 50-1 today. He won at Watkins Glen last year. He's finished 11th or better in 13 of the last 14 road courses. The guy is good at road courses, and just constantly undervalued. I wish, I said earlier in the week I didn't want to grab Buescher's top 10 bet. I think he opened at 130 or something. I didn't want to grab it because he never really qualifies well at road courses, and typically, comes up through the field and kind of just gets there at the end, and then he's running top 10. And I think that's going to happen this week as well. We look back at the high tire wear tracks with this next gen car, and the Fords have always seemed to do better than the Chevys and the Toyotas with tire wear. And I think that plays well into Chris Buescher and his driving style, especially at road courses. He's one of those that takes care of his equipment. He just kind of, he doesn't ride along, but he just methodically works his way through the field. He never qualifies well, but he's always there at the end. So I agree. I love Chris Buescher today. He's one of my favorite plays on this slate. And if he's under owned to where he should be starting 24th with his track record at not only at COTA, but at road courses in general, I'm definitely going to be overweight on him. I love Buescher today. And like I said, I think this whole tire fall off and everything kind of plays into his hands. I wish I could get him. The longest I saw his top 10 odds was plus 200. I'm not biting at that yet. His winning, I think BetMGM has him at 50 to 1. You know, that's probably worth a little sprinkle, you know, $10 to win 500. Why not? But I haven't added anything officially to my card or anything, but don't know what to do with Briscoe. Yeah, I agree. I'm not 100% sure. I know Nick's high on him. He mentioned that COTA is Briscoe's best road course. He's obviously in that 19 car now, which was very good at road courses last year. But nobody really, like, a lot of people aren't right now. You're just taking a stance on Briscoe. You know, you're not definitively really knowing anything because he's on a new team and everything, but I think this is a position to go overweight on him a bit. You know, he's starting 18th. He's reasonably priced at $7,400. I don't mind Briscoe today at all. I actually like having a decent amount of him. I'm not going crazy, but let me run this optimizer quick and we'll get to some lineups. Highest ownership that you think you'll have on any driver today. I can tell you the group that it's going to be in, and it's going to be between it's probably going to be Cindric, but it's going to be Cindric, Buescher, Bell, Bowman are kind of my main, like, who I really like today. All right. Switch this over here. All right. And then we got like Byron starting 15th, you know, highest price driver on the slate, defending winner of this race. Not a lot of people talking about him. There's ways to get different today. There's definitely chalk, but there's ways to get different. Yeah. I think in my news piece I did for Buescher on our driver previews for Rotoballer. I think in my news piece for Buescher I mentioned that he also started 24th at Watkins Glen when he won last year. Sorry, I got to plug my phone in to charge. I have a bad habit of not charging my phone at night. Which really doesn't work well on race days because I'm constantly on my phone during the race. I'm constantly watching live lines. I'm constantly watching Twitter. You know, just constantly on my phone. So need it charged. Okay. Let's grab these here. And the interesting thing about this slate is there's so much place differential opportunity. Obviously, we're going to have dominators. We're probably going to have 2 dominators today. But this is a good question. I'm just seeing this now. Do you need to worry about a dominator at all, or is it still just place differential or finishing position? So that's an excellent question, and when people aren't talking about the need for dominators, it's kind of a time to be a little more weary of dominators or noticeable, keep it in your mind. This race is still 95 laps. They extended it from, I think they did 68 last year. Now it's 95. There's still a decent chunk out there for laps led. So I do think you still need to worry about a dominator. I'm not going to sit here and say you don't, but there's definitely like cash lineups. I don't see a lineup taking down a tournament that's purely place differential. Let me say that. Cash lineups, I can easily make a pure place differential lineup and not be mad about it and not worry about not having a dominator. But I think you're going to need at least one, maybe two, to take down a tournament today. And it's not that hard. You know, this is pretty soft pricing by DraftKings again. And I like when we talked about this at Atlanta last week. I like when they do this for road courses for Atlanta. I like when they do it. Gives us room to move around and make these lineups. Let me see some of these comments coming in here. Did a complete 180 on Reddick. I was all in until he qualified first. Now you're off. Is that crazy? You still have to like Reddick a bit today. You know, starting first is obviously a big advantage, especially to start the race. He's going to have the track position. He's gonna there is going to be, depending on pit stops and strategy, you know, that's where he'll get out of the lead. But to me, I mean, I'm more irritated I didn't bet him to win the pole. His qualifying record's so good here, but he's a previous winner here. He's obviously a great road course racer. I wouldn't recommend going completely off of him. Oh yeah, I like some of these comments coming in here. Let me get to some of these. All right. I feel like I haven't heard Ty Gibbs' name for DFS from anyone. Broadcast even said how they didn't mention him during practice and qualifying. Seems like a good differential. I agree. Let's not forget. Yeah, I agree, but I also like Chastain in that range. So if you give me the option of Chastain and Gibbs, give me Chastain. Gibbs has kind of fallen off a little bit. If you look at how he's running over, like, he was obviously really good here at COTA, like top 3 all day at COTA last year. He kind of fell off though throughout the season on road courses. So I'm a little concerned that he hasn't really found any speed this weekend. It's not a major concern. I agree with you. This could be a time to jump on him. I'm just not going, I'm not going crazy on Ty Gibbs. Yesterday, the winner in the 20 max played 5 drivers starting top 12. Yeah, I do think so. I think there's too much place there's too many good guys starting outside the top 10 today. I mean, Allmendinger starting 12th, Bell 19th, Zilish starting 14th, Bowman 21st, Buscher 24th, Cindric 36th. Hell, you could even throw Blaney in there at 25th. McDowell, Briscoe 16th and 18th. And that's not even dipping down into like some of these like cheap guys, which we'll get to. I feel like the Herbst decision will be the key. I agree. And it's hard to trust a rookie. Obviously he's starting deep because I think he screwed up his qualifying lap. And obviously that's going to get you down there. He ran the race yesterday in the Xfinity series. Forget where he finished. Let me pull that up real quick. But he's one of those guys, he's down here. Herbst is $5,400. And to me, I don't know if you have to go down that far. So that could be the Herbst decision. And if you do have to go down that far, I don't mind pivoting to some other guys down there. Let me pull this up quick. Yeah, so Zilish won yesterday in the Xfinity Series, and where did Herbst finish? 13th, started 9th. Obviously, that's Xfinity. It's a little different. I mean, car is much different than the Cup car, but crazy to like Ty Dillon for DK so cheap. No, I actually I didn't write him up in my article, but my news piece for him for Rotoballer, I talked about he's a cheap option for sure today, and I think he can like flirt with a top 20. So if you really need to dig deep and get a super cheap guy, I don't mind going Ty Dillon off of Herbst, because to me they're kind of the same, but 5 times more people are talking about Herbst than they are Ty Dillon. Whereas Ty Dillon, you look at practice, I think Ty Dillon was like 20th in practice. Like, Colleague Racing has had decent speed at road courses in the past. Yeah, Ty Dillon was 19th in second practice. Where was he in first practice? 26. So still much better. Both of them much better than where he was in qualifying, starting 34th. So he has a ton of upside for place differential. He has a decent track record at road courses in the Cup Series. He's a legitimate mid-20s guy pretty much every single time. He's not in shitbox equipment by any means. He showed speed in practice, and nobody's talking about him. So if you need to dig deep and you don't want to go and just slide in Herbst because everybody's talking about him, I think Ty Dillon is a good pivot this week. I really do. In practice, I had him about a mid-20s car. Toss up between, as far as dominators, toss up between SVG and Reddick. I think I like Reddick a little bit more just because of his place differential upside. I got Larson up there, Chase Elliott up there, Ross Chastain. Those are my top 5. I agree right here. Core 4 for this week, especially for cash lines, I agree, especially with the Cindric, Buescher, Bowman. So let's just start off here with a lineup like this, because like I said, I 100% agree. So if you go Chastain, Bowman, Cindric, Buescher, it leaves you 8,500 for your last 2 guys. You can go, if you don't need to dig deep down to Herbst here. Obviously, the lowest you need to go to get anyone you want is Hocevar at 7,000 or below. But if you go, like, let's just throw SVG on there. And go. See, I'm not a huge Logano fan today. What if we did something like this? I know you just said Chastain, but this worked out to where I wanted to go. I am perfectly fine with this lineup. SVG, Bowman, Buescher, Cindric, Gibbs, Briscoe. You got who I think is most likely to dominate this race in SVG and probably win it. You got Gibbs and Briscoe, who people aren't really talking about them, but if they are, it's nothing major. And then you got some chalk there with Busher, Bowman, and Cindric, who are all going to be really good. I like this lineup a lot. I think this is a good start for this live stream here. I'm going to go ahead and lock this one in. Alex Bowman, Ty Gibbs, Chris Busher, Cindric, SVG, and Briscoe. But yeah, let's do one that has Chastain on it too. Oh shit. All right. Chastain, Bowman, Cindric, Busher leaves us 85. You got to build a few with your arch nemesis. I know. I will say, this happened last year. If you remember from last year, Christopher Bell almost got off of my dead to me list after he won me quite a bit of money at Phoenix in the first Phoenix race because I live bet him at Phoenix. I live bet him at Atlanta last week, hit him 25-1. Still on my dead to me list, not as high as Zane Smith. And I, unfortunately, speaking of arch nemesis, I also don't mind Zane Smith today at COTA. But we'll get to that a little bit later. But starting here with Chastain, Bowman, Busher, Cindric. I'm going to throw this in the optimizer quick just so I can Bowman, Chastain, Busher, Cindric. Okay. Just so I can get some options without doing the mental math and seeing where my projections are. So I figured this is where it'd be. One way you could go Larson and McDowell or Briscoe. My projections like McDowell quite a bit today. I almost wrote him up. But my projections like McDowell quite a bit today. You could also come and grab, instead of Larson and McDowell, you could grab Bell and then do, this says go McDowell as well. You could also go, pick your choice between Blaney, Kyle Busch, Cindric. Yeah, next one projected is Bell with Blaney. What's interesting is this is kind of a difficult core to build with because there's no spots that yes, I can build a lineup with these four and like my lineup, but I'm not finding a combination where I love it. Which to me, like in a situation like that, that's where I say, hey, this is kind of where I want to like this would be a core that I'd want to kind of exploit. Because when if I'm sitting here saying it's a little uncomfortable to build lineups like this, so I can reasonably assume that a lot of other DraftKings players are saying the same thing. So if they are not running away, but potentially avoiding a situation like this, then why would I not want to take advantage of it? Because it is a solid core. You just got to find the missing final two pieces. But you can go, I mean, to me, I do like the Larson McDowell combo, the SVG, Logano combo. Oop. So definitely a lot of ways you can go here. I'm going to go with got a comment in here about Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott starting third. Is he as fast as the Trackhouse cars? Hendrick cars look the best to me in practice. Outside of like SVG. Like SVG looked great. Don't get me wrong. But the Hendrick cars, Larson, Bowman, Byron, Elliott, all looked super strong. So yeah, I do think Chase Elliott is a legitimate contender in this race, and I love Kyle Larson. But Elliott starting third, right up there. He has the track position over SVG. If Reddick, doesn't have the car to start with to really take command of this field. This isn't. It's a good spot to potentially have some more Chase Elliott, but it's also Chase Elliott at a road course, so he's probably going to get a bump in ownership. So, taking a stand of liking Chase Elliott probably isn't going to give you a super big edge today because a lot of people are going to be on him. Let me check something quick. But yeah, I when Chase Elliott likes his car as much as he said he did, you have to take notice because he is truthful. And he's going to tell you how he actually is. Yeah, I'm gonna roll here with Elliott and Blaney to cap this one off. So we're gonna do Alex Bowman, Chris Buescher, Austin Cindric, Ross Chastain, do a Ryan Blaney, and then do a Chase Elliott. SVG a better play than Reddick in fantasy and DFS. Yes, I think so. I think SVG is definitely a contender to win this race. He starts sixth, so he has a little bit of place differential upside compared to Reddick starting on the pole. Obviously, Reddick has the advantage when it comes to dominator points, but SVG can get there. SVG can lead laps. SVG can get fastest laps. So I'm not. Yes, I would give the advantage to SVG over Reddick as far as fantasy goes. What's that first lineup I put in? I'm gonna put in Larson, Chastain, Bowman, Buescher, Cindric, McDowell. I think. I'm actually going to do that one with Blaney and Bell on it. Same one as before, but I'm going to swap out Chase Elliott for Christopher Bell. Yeah, I just saw a tweet about that, and just I don't understand why DraftKings Let's go in there quick. Let's just look at the mini max always fills up early, and they usually, I don't think they put a second one up, but they size these contests so dumb. I mean, the Chrome Horn is almost full. We're still over 4 hours from lock. Chrome Horn only has 5,000 spots left in it. You know, Junebug's filling up pretty good. Lugnut's less than 1,000 spots. And yeah, Minimax. I bet Minimax probably filled last night. Do have the qualifier Minimax open. I should probably enter that quick or reserve some spots in that quick. But yeah, I agree. It's dumb. But I'll have to find the tweet. I might have retweeted it just about the way DraftKings does these contest sizing. Grab my phone quick. But Minimax might be harder to win than the big contest. I mean, it's you got more people in it. So usually there's a better lineup in the Minimax than the main contest. That's what always irritates me, because I think it happened 2 or 3 times. I typically don't play the big GPP. I don't want to dump, a couple thousand every week into it. I do more betting now than dumping a bunch of money into DFS. I used to dump a bunch of money in DFS. High dollar DFS used to be what I always played. I still play from time to time when I'm feeling good, when I like my builds. I'll still get into high dollar DFS. I'll still enter several lineups into the big GPP, but it's always irritating. I think it happened 2 or 3 times last year where I had the lineup in the Minimax that would have taken down or tied for the big GPP. So the Minimax is an underrated contest. It is very competitive. I wish they would bump it up to maybe $1 though, and just kind of increase the prizes there a little bit. Let's look at this. Thoughts on Bowman, Gilliland, Larson? Tell you right now, your lone guy of Gilliland, I like him today. I really like him today. I just got the notification that Nick bet him top forward at 12-1. I like that a lot. He opened at, I believe, 18-1. Where did he get that at? Oh, DraftKings, yeah. But yeah, Gilliland is a strong road course racer. He qualified well. He's not many people are going to be on him today just because of where he qualified. But we're all Gilly Gang fans, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Bowman, Gilliland, Larson, McDowell, Suarez, SVG. Honestly, I'd probably come off of McDowell or Suarez here and grab a Busher or a Cindric, depending on where you wanted to go with it. I love Bowman. Gilliland is definitely a tournament play. So I don't think you need to. I think you still need to eat some of the chalk here with either Cindric or Busher to have that place differential. If you don't want to go Cindric, then go Busher. But Cindric obviously, starts 12 spots further back. Going Larson, Suarez, SVG, you need ideal situation for you here would be Suarez leading a good portion of this race, but you need all of them basically to finish top 5 for this lineup to work out, and Gilliland to finish top 10. So to me, it's a little too risky going those 3. I do love Larson and SVG. Where I'm getting a little hung up on here is definitely I'd go McDowell. I'd take McDowell and I'd grab a chalkier guy. And Suarez, I mean, this is definitely a tournament build for sure, 100%. To me, it's too risky, not enough upside to potentially get there. Too much has to go right for this to get there. But I like your thought process. I think this is a good starter to kind of just mess around with a little bit. To me, I'd probably come off of Suarez as well, and kind of go from there. Or if you didn't want to go Gilliland, go down to maybe if you got off of Gilliland and grabbed Zane Smith, leaves you 79. You need that extra 100 to get up to Cindric. That's annoying. If you had that extra 100 there and could get Cindric, I'd really like this lineup. But you'd have to dip down to Justin Haley. That's probably what I'd do. I'd probably jump down to Haley and then go Cindric. I do like the mindset there though. And I agree with you. You think Larson or SVG is going to win? I agree. I think Reddick will be there too, but I think it's going to come down to Larson, SVG. I really like Larson today. Larson, SVG, Busher, Cindric, Bowman, and Justin Haley. Here's your prediction today. The Optimal will leave salary on. I agree. I agree. Because of the soft pricing and the place differential. So, yeah. Go through here and see. I'm still looking at my what the optimizer spit out for that core of Chastain, Bowman, Busher, Cindric. And it's so the top few lineups, I'm trying to find the first lineup that leaves a good portion of salary on the table. So the top lineup with that one, yeah, I'm back onto that as well. The Chastain, Bowman, Busher, Cindric. I agree. That's a great, 4 pieces. It's just hard to figure out those last 2 spots. Here's one that leaves a ton of cap on the table and gives you basically anyone you want, and it's going with the chalk of Herbst. If you go Chastain, Bowman, Busher, Cindric, and then grab Herbst, you can get anyone you want. Then it comes down to, do you want SVG? Do you want Larson? Do you want Bell? Do you want and really you could go anyone. I mean, you could go Zane Smith and get anyone. You could go Hocevar and get anyone. You could go Gilliland and get anyone. I should go. Yeah, here's my partial dead to me lineup that leaves a ton of cap on the space. Christopher Bell, Zane Smith. But then I got like a bunch of guys I like. Like I like Chastain, I like Bowman, I like Busher. Cindric, I'm indifferent on. As far as like liking them as like drivers. But this would be like my dead to me lineup, you know. But I agree. Like this is a these could be this could be the way where we, you know, leave plenty of cap on the table and it still builds a good lineup because you have that main core there. Austin Dillon as a GPP punt. Maybe. I'm not high on Austin Dillon today. But starting 27, like you need exposure just because he's starting 27th. And that's actually going back to that core we were just talking about. I just ran 40 lineups in the 22nd lineup using that core 4 that we talked about before of Chastain, Bowman, Busher, Cindric. The 22nd lineup in that is SVG and Austin Dillon. Me personally, I'd rather go up to like a Zane Smith if I'm going to do this. But as like, there's upside there with Austin Dillon. He's shown to be capable at road courses. He's not awful by any means. But to me, I think I'd rather go. I think there are other options there that I'd rather go. I don't mind going something like this, though. Going SVG, Bell, Chastain, Bowman, Busher, Austin Dillon. Mm-mm. Get you off the Cindric chalk. Way too much Bowman making you nervous. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, he's got a good car and he's got a great track record here. It's hard to stay off of him. Hendrick is good this weekend. They had a great practice. They had great practices. The cars look really good on the long run. And he's got place differential upside. So going against Bowman intentionally, you're hoping he has issues. But he has shown to be very good at road courses, very good at COTA. So bold projection, all 4 HMS cars in the optimal. I honestly would not be surprised. But how do you build that? Boom. Larson Elliott, Byron Bowman, Ty Dillon Busher. You could also do Ty Dillon, Cindric. I'm locking this in. And then we'll look at lineups with, because you can do it with Herbst as well. But let's see. Doing that same lineup, but with Cindric instead of Busher. I think Hendrick looked the best to me, along with Trackhouse in practice. So if you go Herbst and then you go Blaney, it's probably a little more chalkier. But I mean, certainly works. See, I'm not really liking going up to some of these mid $6,000 guys, though. Like, I think you need the punt. Not a huge fan of going Logano with Austin Dillon. Yeah, I think the best bet is probably to punt down here. I do like this right here. That, like I said, the first, right when we started talking about all 4 HMS cars, throw in Ty Dillon there and call it a day. And then you can just start making little pivots off of this. If you want to get off of Byron, or if you want to get off of Elliott or Larson, you have room to move around here. If you want to go off of Byron, I'd probably stay on Byron, but like, you know, if you didn't want to go Larson, you wanted to go Bell or Allmendinger or Zillish or Chastain. I like this. I like this quite a bit. You do a Bowman, Chastain, Elliott, Byron, Allmendinger, and Ty Dillon. And if you didn't want to go Bowman here, you know, cut off Bowman, go down to a Buescher or a Cindric. Gives you some extra room to play with cap-wise. You know, if you did get off a, if you got off a Bowman here, and you eat the chalk with Cindric, gives you room to go up to Bell if you want to. If you don't want to go Allmendinger, you can go up to Bell. Yeah, this is where like you can get really have a ton of fun building with Ty Dillon in the mix. All right. How would you feed in Zillish? See, that's the tough part. Because he qualified 14th, you need exposure. You have to you have to have some because I mean he's been good. He looked like a top 10 car in practice. Obviously just won the Xfinity race. And my mindset with new guys, with guys making their first Cup Series starts, is I am always very hesitant to buy into the hype. He's decently priced at 8,700 this week. He has place differential upside starting 14th. To me, I have him projected at a little over 20% ownership, and I'd probably stay in that range. I think he's not in terrible equipment. He's obviously talented as hell. So I don't think you can avoid him. If you have a strong lean either way, trust your gut. But I wouldn't stay away from Zillish today. Oh, going Penske and Bowman to start. Ooh. Just to let you know, I probably wouldn't go this route. I like Cindric. I kind of like Blaney. I'm not there on Logano. So just FYI, I don't think I'm not completely there on Logano, but with this build, I'd probably go. If you're going all this place differential, you need a Dominator, so you can go Reddick or SVG. I'd consider, SVG and then either Chastain. Like, I'd probably go Chastain or Allmendinger or Zelish. I'd probably go Chastain. But yeah, I like if this was my lineup, I'd be getting off of Logano. Okay, let's reset this. All right, let this thing run. Yeah, Josh Berry is not a good road course racer at all. I even with his place differential upside and the potential for some calamity today. I mean, he's starting 37th, but even with calamity, I don't see him even cracking the top 20. So yeah, Josh Berry to me is just garbage. I agree. That's what I was kind of hoping for. I was hoping he'd hit that qualify well. So you're thinking the place differential options will beat out a Larson and SVG lineup? That's what we're building right now. It's kind of a safer play, but like my optimal today, I'll just throw it up. My optimal projected is this: SVG, Larson, Bell, Bowman, McDowell. Like I said, my projections are low on Cindric. Bowman, McDowell, Herbst. So while I'm building place differential lines here, my projections really like the Larson SVG lines. And I think you could swap out Larson and Elliott and go from there as well. If you wanted a little more. But I really like Larson today. Logano, doesn't he always seem to hang around and pull up a top 10 in these types of races? It makes no sense. I just feel like that's the Logano way. Kind of. I mean, kind of reminds me of a Busher, where he just runs his race. And yeah, like you said. But if I'm just doing 20 lines, I don't know if I'm getting to Logano. I just ran so in the Rotoballer optimizer, which by the way, as always, use code Jordan25. You can get the entire rest of my content for the year for $130 using code Jordan25. But just ran 300 lines using the Rotoballer optimizer, and I had it in tournament mode, and using my projections, Logano's showing up 12% of the time. Wouldn't you feel better pivoting off of Bowman with Blaney? Yeah, I think Bowman. I have Bowman projected the highest ownership on this slate. So no, I have Cindric highest projected ownership. I have Bowman second. But as far as pivot, I don't mind going to Blaney over Bowman. I just think Bowman's going to be so good. I think Bowman has a great car today. So I'm fine with eating the Bowman chalk. But if you want to pivot, then obviously there's room to go. But I don't mind going to Blaney at all. I'd honestly, if I'm pivoting off of Bowman, I'd rather pivot to Buescher though than Blaney, unless you're really trying to get different. Make some Reddick lines for sure. What about something like this? What if we go Reddick, Larson, Zillish, Bowman, Buescher, grab Herbst. So this is just to start with. So we're talking about pivoting off of Bowman here. So let's go down. You could pivot up to Gibbs. What about something like this? Go Reddick, SVG, Allmendinger, Blaney, Buescher, Herbst. Could also go Elliott, but then you got Reddick, Elliott, and SVG in one line. To me, there's not enough place differential there, or laps led openings for them to grab. Could also go Chastain if you wanted to. I don't have an Allmendinger line though, so as far as this stream goes, I'm gonna throw this one in there. Actually, my first Reddick line too. Could you rank Haley, John Hunter, Nemechek, Barry? Yeah, that order would be my ranking. Haley first, John Hunter, Nemechek, then Josh Berry. How many guys starting top 7 would you use? Honestly, I would be, if you're putting 150 in, I would mainly stick to just 2, max of 2. Going back to some Reddick lineups here. All right, let's go Reddick, Larson, Zilish, Bowman, Cindric, Hurst. Let's pivot down to Ty Dillon. Reddick, Larson, Bell, Bowman, Cindric, Ty Dillon. I mean, this is a pretty chalky line. Similar to what we just did, but let's go Reddick, SVG, Allmendinger, Bowman, Cindric, Dillon. I agree. And I think he hated his car in practice, but that car was fast. And if they can, he mentioned after practice, if they can just adjust it and just work a little bit on the setup to save the tires a little bit more, he has a car that can win this race. I just man, it's tough. I don't playing around. I'm not quite getting there. on lines with 3 guys starting, top 6. I'm just not getting there. All right, what about this? Reddick, Elliott, Chastain, Buescher, Cindric, Zane. I like this, and then I like going SVG over Reddick as well. So you go SVG, Elliott, Buescher, Cindric. Oops. Could go Zilish here. I'm going to grab Zilish just to actually have a lineup with him in it. So I don't have one yet in this contest. But Zane Smith, as dead as he is to me, we can't ignore the fact that he finished 19th or better at every road course last year. And it's not like those front row cars are bad at road courses. That's what I'm looking for. Same lineup, just with Chastain instead of Zilish. Which I have those two pretty close in projection. So I was looking, I've been browsing, I'm trying to find lineups that I have Reddick but not Herbst, because a lot of the Reddick lineups that my projections like also have Herbst in them. Chastain, Bowman, Cindric, Austin Dill. So here's one that came up that's a little interesting. Again, you could go Zilish over Chastain here. Could go Buescher over Bowman. Could go Buescher over Cindric. So if you go Buescher over Bowman, leaves you 300 to play with. You could go Instead of Bell, you go Larson. I don't hate Bell, though. Tyler Reddick, AJ Allmendinger, Christopher Bell, Chris Buescher, Austin Cindric. Austin Dillon. Best cash game lineup with only 7 teams in the game. I'd start definitely with Bowman, Cindric. I'd probably go Buescher. Throw Herbst on there. Actually, I'd probably come up a little bit. Let's start here. I'm not good at cash games. I'm going to be honest with you. But I would probably go maybe something like that. SVG, Larson, Bell, Cindric, Buescher, Herbst. Actually, I'd probably get off. I'd probably go up to Bowman instead of Buescher, and then just jump down to Ty Dillon. One of those two. That's probably what I'd do. But again, I'm not good at cash lineups at all. I don't have that mindset. Suarez being swept on 5th isn't ideal, but that is Group A, which seems slower for qualifying. Yeah, they were slower. They weren't like super slower. Yeah, I did not. It's not on my card, but I threw like a little. I sprinkled on Zane, top Ford. I think I got it at 20. They have Cindric and Buescher so too short with as the favorites here. So I like going like Gilliland or Gilliland opened at 16. I sprinkled on that. Let me check here. Okay. Looks like the longest you can get Gilliland right now is 9, unless I'm missing something. I'm not going through all the apps right now, but Zane 18, yeah. I don't mind that at all. See if he can get because it's we don't know for sure that Busher's going to be like as automatic as he typically is. Yeah, I don't mind going with kind of a couple longer shots there. At 18-1, I don't mind Zane Smith at all. So as far as Zilish goes, like I said, I ran 300 lines. He's in 30. He comes up 35% using my projections on tournament mode on Rotoballers. Ty Dillon only comes at 5%, but Herbst is at 49%. So, and this is with no parameters or anything. So obviously you need to switch stuff around. But all right, give me some Zane Smith here. What if we do like a Larson, Bell, Chastain, Bowman, Cindric, Zane Smith? Okay, Elliott, SVG, Chastain. I wish there was enough room here to go Bell instead. Go Blaney and go Gibbs here too. If you go Larson, SVG, Larson, SVG, Allmendinger, Cindric, Briscoe, Zane Smith. Again, I don't like having that many in top 7. But I'm just playing around here. So if you go Suarez, SVG, Allmendinger, Bell. I like that a lot more. If you go like this, you go SVG, Bell, Allmendinger, Busher, Cindric, or Blaney in that spot, Suarez, Zane Smith. Because I do need I need Suarez exposure here. Yeah, good luck today. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for the questions for sure. Fade the top 3 owned drivers. Okay. So my projected highest owned, Cindric, Bowman, and then SVG and Reddick are close. So, all right. So we're fading Cindric and Bowman for sure. And then either SVG or Reddick. Okay. My projections like McDowell so much today, and I don't think I'm there on him. All right, fading Cindric, fading Bowman for sure, and then SVG or Reddick. Okay, so let's go Larson, Bell, Chastain, let's run down and grab Ty Dillon off of the chalk Herbst. You're welcome. Thanks for popping in. All right. Leaves us 88 here with these 3. Okay. If you go Briscoe, it leaves you 10-2. Go Suarez there. Honestly, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go Suarez, Byron. Byron, Larson, Bell, Chastain, Suarez, Dillon. This is a Is there enough place differential here? I mean, first glance, maybe not. You got Bell, obviously. Byron's you could come off of Byron and go SVG if you wanted. But I'd say this is definitely off the beaten path. Oh shit. But I don't hate it as like a one-off lineup. I'm not building a bunch off of this core. And again, you could go to go a little bit safer here, you could go SVG and Blaney instead of Byron and Suarez. But practice times, Suarez looked good. Suarez for McDowell, yeah. I know my projections would like that. My projections love McDowell today. More than I do, obviously. The issue here, though, is switching out like this in and of itself. I think Larson can lead laps here. And I think Chastain can potentially lead laps here, but neither of them are dominators. So I feel like you need a dominator in here, which was kind of what I was going with Suarez. You could come off of Larson and go to Chase. But I like Larson a ton today. Yeah, I just don't know if this has the. I don't know if it has the dominator to take down a tournament. Unless Suarez gets out there and leads a bunch. Or Larson. But I feel like it needs like an SVG or something. But for the sake of this stream, I am going to enter this lineup just because it is unique. I could drop Chastain. For, yeah. I mean, you could go anywhere there for more place differential. But I was trying to stay away from Bowman and Cindric here. I like this lineup, but I also like the one with SVG and Blaney instead of Suarez and Byron. So I'm gonna put both of them in. Byron. Yeah, so SVG, Larson, Bell, Chastain, Blaney, Ty Dillon. So I think this is pretty much my optimal projected. Except my optimal projected goes Herbst, McDowell instead of Blaney, Ty Dillon. So ironically enough, let me double check that. Yeah, my optimal projected is SVG, Larson, Bell, Chastain, McDowell, Herbst. So my optimal today actually stays away from quite a bit of the chalk. Let me triple check to make sure this is right. That's not right. No. Optimal projected as SVG, Larson, Bell, Bowman, McDowell, and Herbst. Why is there no? Oh, duh. I took Bowman. Yeah. I'm looking at the optimizer. I took Bowman and Cindric out of this. So, yeah, my optimal projected has SVG, Larson, Bell, Bowman, McDowell, Herbst. This one relatively close with that. SVG, Larson, Bell. Okay. Yeah, Blaney. Yeah, you could go get Byron there as well. Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can see. Chrome Horn's already full. I know we talked about this a little bit. The sizing of the contest. Let's go back to the lobby here. See, the engineer's not full, not close to full because the price structure is awful. Wind tunnel's getting close. Chrome Horn is, I mean, that'll probably fill here as I'm sitting here streaming, and we're over 3 hours from lock. I just feel like yeah, I'm going to force. I haven't finalized all my lineups for today, but I need to force the optimizer to downgrade Herbst because it's automatically shifting him in just because of he's cheap, fit well into a line. Yeah, Crumhorn just filled. Engine block is close to filling. The big one is. Again, we're 3 hours from lock, and these contests are just. I wish DraftKings would care a little bit more. I wonder. Oh, I bet it just filled. Yep, it filled. I was trying to get in there quick, grab that last spot, but yeah, bump and run's close. Rainbow Warriors close. It's like they just refuse to acknowledge that the demand for NASCAR is quite high. But yeah, I am as far as Herbst goes, I like pivoting down to Ty Dillon today. I'm talking myself into quite a bit of Ty Dillon if I'm going down in that price range. I like Zane Smith down there as well. Austin Dillon's not an awful pivot. And you know what's going to happen is Herbst is going to be the chalk's going to hit because that's just what happens. All right. Best strategy with only 95 laps. Not that it matters, but there's so much place differential and quite a bit of chalk that I think what's going to take these tournament downs is small pivots. And it's kind of just getting the right combination together. Place with only 99 laps, it's more than what we're used to at COTA. So last year was 60 whatever laps, 68. So we get an extra almost 30 laps here this year. Obviously increases the number of laps led and fastest lap points, but place differential finishing position is still at a premium and should be a major focus with your lineup. I would at most target 2 dominators. I think the winning lineup is going to have 2 dominators in it, starting probably in that top. I think we're going to see 2. I think in the optimal, we're going to get 2 guys starting top 12, maybe 3, but I think we get 2 guys starting top 12. In the optimal today. So yeah, and I think this is what's going to happen today as well. So most drivers high owned, you just got to find 2 diamonds in the rough, and I 100% agree. I think that's going to be the key this week, and it doesn't even have to be like an out of nowhere pick, but maybe just someone that that nobody's really talking about that's really good here. Maybe like a William Byron today, who defending winner of this race, high priced. It's probably going to be under owned considering he's starting 15th. That could be a diamond in the rough today. Someone like a Zane Smith could be a diamond in the rough today. Looking at Chase Briscoe could be diamond in the rough today. But the fact of the matter is, we know who's good at these tracks. We know Chase Elliott's going to be a factor. We know Reddick's going to be tough. We know SVG is going to contend for this win. Larson's going to be tough. Chastain should be really good. Bowman should be really good. There's chalk there, place differential wise. That unfortunately, I think we do have to eat a lot of the chalk today. I don't think we're going to get away from it. And that's yeah. Hey, thank you. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. And yeah, if you haven't yet, rotoballer.com, use my code Jordan25, you'll get 30% off. I'll tell you what, I'm always very happy when I start off a season hot, and betting card this year has been very solid. First 2 races, we're already up 8 units on betting card. Ended up the season last year plus 60 something, 67, 68. So feeling really good this year. I'm confident. So thank you for subscribing. I hope we continue keep this rolling. Yeah, Blaney is. I'm ending up more on Blaney on this live stream than I thought I would. Not that he's an awful pick, but he's one of those, like we were just talking about, diamonds in the rough. I could see the pivot of getting off of a Cindric, getting off of a Bowman, getting off of a Buescher, going down to Blaney. And even, we talked about it before, possibly even someone like a Logano. I don't personally like Logano as much. But they're both there. just staying in the top 15, I don't see that working out. There's too much outside of the top 15 that I think, like, I know it's hard to pass with this car at road courses. I know track position is everything, but we're going to see tire fall off. It's going to put stuff into the driver's hands a little bit more. There are so many good cars starting outside of the top 15. Christopher Bell could win this race. Alex Bowman, I legitimately think he has a top 5 car. Joey Logano could make his way up. Chris Buescher, always solid at road courses. All these guys are starting, I'm just going down the starting lineup now, just naming these guys off. Bell, Bowman, Buescher, and then like we have Cindric qualifying 36th. I would highly recommend not fading all of the chalk. I don't see that working out. We did do one lineup here completely fading, the top 3 ownership wise guys. But I don't think overall that's a good strategy, because you need too much calamity to happen to too many specific people, and their upside is too good, or too high. So yeah, I think, as much as I do not like eating the chalk, you need to just position yourself and make small pivots. Like I always say, it's my favorite thing to do on slates like this, is just tiny little pivots. I'm glad you enjoy it. I mean, I love doing these. I wish I could. I mean, I'm coming up on 2 hours live, sitting here shooting the shit. I love doing these, and I'm glad you enjoy it. Hamlin, I'm not on Hamlin. Not on Hamlin at all, to be honest with you. All right, Blaney, Bowman, Buescher, Chastain. Cindric, Elliott. For a single entry, yeah, that's quite a bit of chalk. Yeah. I don't hate it. I think this will cash. But single entry, you're not looking to cash. And if you do, yeah, to me it's too chalky. It's a solid build, though. I don't know if I've landed on that today or not yet. Favorite low-owned driver. Digging deep down, it's going to be Ty Dillon. Justin Haley's a decent option, low-owned. Zane Smith. My favorite, I do really like Ty Dillon today. Tournament wise, like ranking these, I'd probably go Zane, Ty Dillon, Haley. And then if you really want to get to, and you really want to take a risk, Gilliland starting 10th intrigues me. I don't think the upside's there. He costs a little too much to make it. Hocevar starting 4th. I'm at the point with Hocevar, I want to see him succeed, but I'm not rolling the dice in DFS today with him starting 4th. But I'd love to see him challenge for the win. So yeah, I think Zane Smith, Ty Dillon, Justin Haley are all good low-owned guys. as far as like super low owned. Yeah, if you play Elliott, you need laps led. How many, if so? If you're playing Elliott today, which I landed on quite a few Elliott lineups, you're hoping that he gets the lead early, and I would say if he leads 20 laps, finishes top 5, I think it'll be close on where you need, because let's say he finishes third and leads 20 laps. So finishing third, he's going to get 41. He's not going to have any place differential. 20 laps is going to get him 5 points. So I'll get you at 48. Wait, 46 if he finishes third. Yeah, so he probably needs 20 something laps led, and a top 3 finish, which I think is obtainable. But that's also why I'd rather like go Bell there. Ooh. All right, going through, see if any of these, going through my projected lineups and seeing if any of them stick out to me. It'd be fun to talk about. Like I said, my projections today love Michael McDowell. I think Byron is a very good tournament play today. I think people are going to overlook him because you got right underneath him, you got the pole sitter and you got SVG, who, I mean, obviously, plenty of people are going to gravitate toward Reddick being on the pole and just having the track position to lead early laps. SVG has the highest potential to dominate this race alongside Reddick. And then, then we're getting down to Larson, Bell, Elliott. I think people are going to kind of gravitate away from Byron unless they dig deep. But if they dig deep and grab like a Herbst, okay, so chances are Herbst is the chalk play down here. And so I'm looking at this from any person just coming in building a lineup. Let's say you go with Herbst, you hit the chalk here in the center. So give me Bowman, give me Cindric, maybe give me Buescher, but you don't even have to. So you start here with Herbst, you go Bowman, Cindric. Let's say you grab Bell. Actually, let's stick down here. Let's go Allmendinger. Okay. Yeah, this is where I'm going. So let's say you build like this. You're going relatively chalky here. You got Herbst, you got Bowman, you got Cindric, and you got Allmendinger. Leaves you 97 for your last 2 drivers. You're probably going to either go SVG or Reddick, and then Larson or Bell. And this is going to be, and you could go Reddick and Larson here. And this is a good build. Don't get me wrong. This is a very good build. But you see where I'm getting at, where people are going to just naturally not land on Byron. The defending winner of this race, one of the better road course drivers in the series, starting 15th. So, yes, I think we need to, when you're building lineups today, definitely put a little bump up for William Byron. And I will note, if you're using my projections, you're going to need to manually bump those up for Byron to get him on there. Because my projections do exactly this. They love this section right here of Bell, of Larson, of SVG. And they kind of, they don't get up to Byron. But the potential is there, and that's why I like Byron in tournaments. Man, I still love this lineup so much right here. SVG, Larson, Bell, Bowman, Cindric, and Ty Dillon. Which I don't even think – I never even put this line in today. Huh. I better do that. I love this build right here. You could also come off of, Bowman and go down to Busher. Yeah, I like this one a lot. And also, you have the extra 100 if you want to go Reddick over SVG. But you see where I'm getting at, where people are kind of going to stay away from the guy, the defending winner of this race starting 15th, who, by the way, had a top 3 car in practice. So, yes, I definitely really like prioritizing Byron today. Not shitting on SVG, but I think in order for us to crown him king, I think he needs to run COTA and our road courses for a couple more years. I typically agree with you, and I have this mindset for new guys coming into the series, but he has been so good. Like, he has not been your typical overhyped guy, especially at the road courses. He has impressed on pretty much every track. Like, SVG is, trust me, I want to doubt these phenoms every single time. I honestly think SVG is the real deal. The first one we've had in a while. That mindset, though, I like Connor Zilish. I have that. Yes. Before we sit here and say he's a phenom, he's the next whatever. Yeah, I'm curious to see how he runs today. I personally think he's about a top 10 car. It's still obviously very good to jump in a Cup Series ride for the first time ever and run top 10. But getting a lot of hype. SVG, though, I think he deserves the hype. I really do. He's been so good. Leaving any salary on the table, that's absolutely a strategy to take today. And you can do it because the soft pricing by DraftKings definitely gives you the opportunity. So, yes, the door's there. All of my builds that I've liked and that like my projections are using most of the salary, though. I will note that. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if the top lineup today was like left 1,000 on the table. So I would not purposely use all cap. If you like a lineup that leaves cap on the table, yeah. Ooh, that's a good question. That's a very good question. Byron and Herbst or Bell and Haley? I'm looking at my projections right now. My projections are going to say, damn, it's going to be close. probably going to be Byron and Herbst, but it's going to be close. And like I said, my projections are quite low on Haley. So yeah, projections say Byron Herbst. I would agree with that. I'd give a slight nod to Byron Herbst as far as like a tournament mind goes. It's a good question though. Here's an interesting build. SVG, Larson, Bell, Bowman, Blaney, and then Herbst or Ty Dillon. And again, if you want to get off of Bowman and Blaney, you could swap out Bowman down to Busher and then swap out Blaney up to Cindric. Top 3 owned drivers. It's going to be Cindric, Bowman, and then my projections have it close between Reddick and SVG. So yeah, definitely Cindric and Bowman though are going to be very high owned today. I'm curious to see where Herbst actually ends up. Priest. I'm not a big fan of like a lot of those guys down there. Like Josh Berry, Ryan Priest. I'm not getting there. Keselowski, I'm not getting there. Ford really is not, they don't have a ton of road course talent. Oh, got it. Oh, I thought you were talking about Priest. Childers' X account seems to think they have a fast car. I'm always a little leery. He's one of those crew chiefs that he's overly optimistic, I think. Let's see what he said. Had a fast car in practice yesterday. Looking forward to seeing Justin Haley make his way forward today. Okay. As always, if you haven't joined the private DraftKings contest that I set up, I tweeted it out. You might have to dig back a little bit. I had a bunch of scheduled tweets going out. But make sure you join that. Make sure you come play. As always, rotoballer.com. Use code Jordan25 for my content. If you have any more questions or want to do any other type of build, just throw them in the chat here. I'm not really on a time crunch today, so I can sit here and shoot the shit longer if you want. Scrolling through Twitter here, seeing if there's anything new that I could miss. Do we keep the same 36 for 36 picks after practice and qualifying? Yeah. So the picks that our rule for this year is or our rule for this game has been we make our picks when we record and we don't change them. So yeah, we keep the same picks from the show. Thanks for the reminder for me to get my pick in on the official website. I picked Bowman this week, didn't I? I'll have to double check that. I think I picked Bowman. Why do you think Pockrass is at the or the IndyCar race and not in Texas? I don't know. I thought that was interesting as well. I saw Nick tweet out that the coverage of qualifying was atrocious. I don't know. Obviously, they're putting their best foot forward with IndyCar, or trying to put their best foot forward, and Pockrass is one of the best motorsports reporters in the world. So, do I like that they're taking him and his attention off of NASCAR? I'm not a fan of that, but he seems to be doing a decent job right now of juggling both. So, yeah, I noticed that too. We'll see if it continues. We'll have to, it's kind of, it's interesting. Don't like any attrition plays like Custer. Problem with Custer today. Big tournaments. Yes, I think you need some Custer exposure, but like in that price range, if I'm hand building, I'd rather go Zane Smith. I'd rather go Justin Haley, and then I'd rather go cheaper than Custer, than hope for some calamity and then Custer move up. Let's see here. I saw a comment here earlier that I wanted to point out because I saw another Kyle Busch comment just come in. I'm not getting the Kyle Busch today. I think he can run top 10. I'm not playing him today. I'd rather go Suarez. Like, I think Suarez has the potential to lead laps today over Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch can probably run 8th all day and finish 8th. I would rather go Suarez with the upside. So, to answer your question, Sparty, I'm not on Kyle Busch at all. Zilish, yeah, I have some Zilish. I think you have to. I probably don't have enough. I'm gonna end up with more of him in my actual lineups for the day instead of the ones that I just built on here. But I'm looking to be at about 15 to somewhere between 15 and 25% Zillish is probably where I'm going to end up. Yeah, IndyCar is their new toy, and I think their shiny new toy. And I think that I think there was something in the agreement that they signed with them. You know, obviously IndyCar got a hell of a deal being on Prime Fox for every race. So I think there's something in that agreement where Fox is going, like, I think IndyCar dictated that Fox try to do a better job with them than they do NASCAR. I think there's some stuff in place that that is going to, that they're going to put more effort. It doesn't mean it's going to be good, but they're going to put more effort at IndyCar. And like I said, it's their shiny new toy, so they're going to try to pump it now as they're throwing the NASCAR race over to F1 or FS1. All right, here's a question. Let's see here. What do you think of Byron, Reddick, Bowman, Cindric? I don't like John Hunter Nemechek, but we'll see what we can do here. Like I said, my projections are really high on McDowell today. I'd rather go Haley. Like, if you're doing this line, I'd rather go Haley. And if you're not in love with Reddick, I'd honestly go SVG over him. And then instead of Haley, go Zane. So with that, I'd go Byron, SVG, Bowman, Cindric, McDowell, Zane Smith. If you wanted to stick with Reddick, which I understand entirely, I'd go Byron, Reddick, Bowman, Cindric, McDowell, Haley, and not John Hunter Nemechek. But that's a pretty solid build there for what it's worth. If you have any other questions, go ahead and throw them in. Like I said, I'm not really on a time crunch today, so I can go through lines, can look. Dissect some stuff here. Go through some more of my projected lines here before I finalize them. Just seeing what the optimizer spit out, see if anything catches my eye as interesting to talk about. Here's one with Zillish, SVG, Bell, Zillish, Bowman, Busher. Has Austin Dillon in it. Keeps you off of the Cindric chalk. Like I said, my projections are a little bit low on Cindric today. They don't hate him by any means. Just prefer, definitely prefer Bowman over him. Definitely prefer Busher over him. My projections do. As far as safe wise, you know, Cindric is quite a safe option today. So this is interesting, and thank you for bringing this up because I've wanted to talk about this. I've been meaning to talk about this. I can see Bell being on optimal strategy, but I can also see, and this is the same as Byron, I could see them going for stage points. I can see them going for stage wins. Like Bell starting 19th, if he's not able to move up at all, and he has the chance to just stay out and grab a stage win, why wouldn't he? So I could see it both ways. But like SVG, he's going to be on the optimal strategy. Allmendinger is going to be on the optimal strategy. Zilish going to be on the optimal strategy. Most likely, Byron and Bell are just going to be on the optimal strategy. But yeah, it's something I've been definitely thinking about. Did one with Ty Dillon and Herbst? How much did that leave you left over? I mean, you have your pick of anybody when you go those two. I'll give you that though. Like I don't see a lot of people going both Herbst and Ty Dillon. Now, do I see it particularly working out and taking it down off the top of my head? No, but at the same time, like you said, if Herbst and Ty Dillon can both crack the top 20 with that place differential, I mean, you got the rest of those four, whether you go Byron or, take your pick of four between, Byron, Reddick, SVG, Bell, Larson, Elliott, all four of those could win. So it's honestly not awful if you trust both Herbst and Dillon. Chances of them both hitting, I don't think is extremely likely, but at the same time, like we don't really know how much craziness is going to happen today. Blaney, Bell, Reddick, Busch, McDowell, only drivers with only one non-top 15 finish. Only drivers with only one non-top 15. Okay. What about Buescher? Buescher has to be in there. Unless you're talking, I forget where Buescher finished in the street course. I kind of separate Chicago when we're talking like regular road courses. Just because we've never really had a great race there, like super clean. There's always been some variable. Man, Buescher's been awful at Chicago, hasn't he? Oh no, that's Chicagoland. Yeah, he finished 20th at Buescher finished 20th at Chicago Street Course last year, and then I think he was like 19th at Charlotte Roval. But all right, 1:30. I've been live for nearly 2.5 hours. Any other last chance for any questions? Throw them in the chat. If not, I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to set the rest of my lines. Yeah. Buescher, 20th at Chicago, and then, 17th or wherever at Roval. So, Hey, you're welcome. Like I said, thanks for popping in. Thanks for everybody that tuned in today. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. If you're on Twitter, make sure you follow. Again, rotoballer.com, use code Jordan25. You can get the rest of the season $130 using that code. It's going to get you my betting cards every week, my betting card every week, algorithm predicted finishing order, DraftKings projections picks. You're going to get access to all of our premium NASCAR content, all of our free NASCAR content. We do driver previews every single week on every single driver in the field. Make sure you check it out. I know I'm biased, but honestly, I think Rotoballer is, as far as value for your money, I think is the best value out there when it comes to NASCAR. So make sure you check us out. Jordan25, use that code. I try to go live every week, breaking down these slates, talking NASCAR, talking the races, building lineups. But yeah, good luck to everybody today at COTA. Hey, thank you very much. Appreciate it a lot. And let's have another good week. Man, last week was fun. Atlanta was fun. Pay attention in the Rotoballer Discord. Like last week, at the end of the race, Hard Rock still had Bell and Chastain open at 25-1. They were both sitting there running top 5 in the late stages of that race. And obviously we hit Bell 25-1. So I'm confident in my bets today. Looking forward to watching live betting again today. And yeah, watching this race. I like road course races. And then next week we'll be off to we're at Phoenix next week already. Yeah, Phoenix and then Vegas and then Homestead. So good luck to everybody this week. Circuit of the Americas, EchoPark Automotive Grand Prix. Good luck with your bets. Good luck with fantasy. Hope to see you guys take down some tournaments today. Let me know if you do. And so Rotoballer, the top package, which includes all of my content, which includes the optimizer and everything, for the rest of the year, if you use code Jordan25, you'll get it down from $199 for the rest of the year down to $129. So $130 rest of the year literally could pay for itself in one race. So, like I said, I think it is one of the best, if not the best, value when it comes to NASCAR content and online DFS betting content. Like I said, I am I have my bias here, but I'm proud of everything that we put out at Rotoballer, and yeah, I think it's a very good deal. Even if I wasn't producing it, I would be subscribing. So thank you guys. Good luck today. Enjoy the race. We'll be back next week. Nick and I will be live on Wednesday for Stacking Denny's to recap COTA and then preview Phoenix. So 4:30 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday. If you get a chance, make sure you tune in. If not, I'll see you next Sunday here to break down Phoenix and build lineups for that race. So good luck, guys. Get those lineups in, and we'll talk to you next week. See you.